And this is Rooftop. In this workshop, we're going to be making a pencil landscape drawing. So we've been doing a lot of Christmas themed workshops, and I thought, you know what, for a change, at least once in a while, I'll do something different rather than a theme setting. So let's start and see how we go about this. Okay, so I have my paper here. Okay, so I will also add the reference for you all so that you can see what exactly am I painting. Drawing, not painting, drawing. Here. So this is what we are going to be drawing today. Alright? So at first, we can either start with the mountain over here or with the horizon line, which is basically where the mountain and the land at the bottom would connect. Just like that. Okay, so we'll draw it a little lightly. Okay, and then I want the mountain to start from somewhere here, just about this high. Just like this, and then from here we can bring this down. Okay, and then now if you look at this mountain here, right, it starts just at the tip of the left one over here. So from here, just at the tip, and then I can take this upward like that, and then drop it back down. There you go, just like this. And then here we'll have another one at the bottom. Just like that. And this one here as well. Perfect. So now we have the drawing ready for, actually, before that, I'll just draw this part down here. And then even this side. Yeah, now we have the drawing ready. Alright, and then over here at the bottom, I will just separate these two for the land and water, just like that. Okay, now I can make this reference a little bit bigger so you can see it much better. These pigeons freaked me out. Okay, and then over here, somewhere right about this side. So now if I want to know where to start with this, right? Just imagine a horizontal line going straight up, and if you see it connects right about here. So where the two mountains meet, that is where we see it. So if you go here like that, yeah. So over here I'll come down, and this is where I will start it. Okay. Just like that. Over here as well. and then I'll draw this bottom part over here. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. You can write them down in the comments. I think they should be that side. This side, that's where it is. It should be this side, so you can let me know if you have any questions. Okay, and then coming back this side over here. So this part you can just leave it a little bit light and dark, just to sort of mark out where you want the separation to be between this land and the water. Okay, now we can start with shading the mountain. So I'll just start off by, so I like to do it in the hatching style. There you go, like that. So I'm just drawing lines side by side in the same direction. So left to right, or right to left, or top right to bottom left, or bottom left to top right. Over there. And then a little bit this side also. Just like this. So if there are any changes needed to be made, you can do it while you are shading. Okay, so then over here as well. So you see, I seem to have missed out on some of these lines. So all of this over here, right? If you look at this shadow over here, this shadow this side, this shadow also. So I'm drawing them out first with an outline, and then I know that, okay, I have to fill in this side, or I need to fill in this side, and so on and so forth. Just like this. Okay, and then I'll start shading in here as well. And remember, when you're shading, right, don't hold the pencil this close. Hold it from the middle or further back. We don't want to cross the middle part of the pencil. Now for those of you who are not used to this, it might take you some time, but trust me, it is worth practicing this way. There you go, look at that. Look at how nice that looks. And then the same thing this side also. Just like that. Nice, you can already see the the depth taking place. And then over here also. So now I'm starting off by making them, entirely one tone. Just like this. A bit over there. Some more lines this side. Just to add some texture to the mountain. Lovely, look at that. Okay. And then now I can start adding the much darker tones over here, if you see. Right over here, these few lines, a bit over here. Alright. So I'll just show you. Like this. A little bit here. And then some this side, a little bit in between, over there. And make sure your pencil is always sharp whenever you shade. Okay. So make sure it is always sharpened, and that way you will get much better results when it comes to shading. Because when you shade with a sharpened pencil, right, you have the difference of using like a cheap art product to an expensive one. The difference in colors, it's the same thing with shading. By only just sharpening your pencil, you get that big of a change. So a little bit there. There you go. And then maybe I can take my, I'll do the erasing much later on. I'll focus more on just the shading now. Over there. And then a little bit this side. Just like that. a little bit here. Okay, I think that should be pretty good for the mountain. Maybe I can darken this part a little bit more. Just like that. Nice. And then a little bit down over here, so I'll keep it darker towards the bottom, and as I go higher I'll keep it a little lighter, just like that. That looks so lovely. Okay, and then over here, and remember when you shade, right, just keep rotating your pencil like this. You can just keep rotating your pencil so that your the lead, right, or the graphite of your pencil, it will keep remaining sharp that way. Otherwise, one side it will become flat, and then the other side will be a little dull. Then only on one corner you will have, you know, a sharper area. So in that sense, it's much better to keep rotating your pencil as you shade. Okay, now I can start adding the trees a little bit. Like that. Now remember, the trees are at a distance, so you can't really see each and every branch or leaves of the tree. What you can see is just an overall shape with a little bit of light passing through, and that's exactly what we're going to be drawing over here. So just the rough shape of these trees. So if you see, I'm just drawing lines. Hold on. I'll just give you an example of what I'm talking about. So for the trees right over here, what I'm doing is I'm not drawing a tree like this. This is not what I'm drawing. This is not what I'm drawing. What I'm drawing is just, that is what I'm doing. And then maybe if the tree is a bit wider like this, then I'll just do this. Like that, and then maybe just one line over here. That's how simplified we need to keep it. For these trees at the back, the small ones, you know what, I can just show you. Look at that. I'm barely even drawing anything over here, but at a distance when you look at it, it starts to look like a tree. So over here also I'll just start adding a few lines like that, some of them coming downwards. Some straight lines. There you go. See, I'm barely even doing anything. Just scribble it zigzag, and then your your trees are gonna start looking like trees. See, if you want a bigger tree here, I'll just make it bigger, make it a bit smaller here, but just make sure it has a triangular shape basically. So now once I'm done with this, I'll just show you a close-up of what exactly did I make, or how did I draw these trees. If you can simplify such stuff, right, drawing and painting will be so much easier for you. Just like this. So I can see all these trees that I drew over here. I'll just bring it closer. Look at this. I haven't drawn a single tree over here. I have just scribbled it zigzag in the shape of a tree, and when I take it further away, it looks just like a tree. So you can see that, instead of having to draw, and not just in landscape, in anything, even when you try to draw portraits or when you try to draw objects, when you try to shade or paint light and shadow, we just shade or paint the shape of the light or the shape of the shadow. We don't think of, okay, like if you look at my hand, let me switch. If you look at my hand, like, okay, like this, let's say like this. So if you look at the shape of my finger here, now if you want to draw it in a much easier way, think of it as the shape of this light that is there on the top of my finger, the shape of the shadow that is there at this part of my finger, and then maybe some little shapes over here for the nails of my fingers. And that way, when you break it down into that way, it becomes a lot easier to understand how we can draw. So even if I show you this now, you can see they look like trees over here when I haven't actually drawn a single tree. Yeah. Okay, and then we can start shading this bottom part here. Just like that. A little bit there. Okay, and then I'll start with this side over here. There you go. And then I'll start adding the much darker tones here. Just like this. Leave some gap for this color or the shade at the bottom. Just like that. So now just add the very darkest tones wherever you see them. A little bit this side, some of it over here, some here, and then some here. But now if you look at this, it looks very weird, right? It doesn't look right. So now we have some light tones and some dark tones. Now we'll add the medium tones. Now we're not going to consider this light. We're going to consider the lightest color in here, or the lightest shade in here as the light tone. Okay. And then over here I will add some medium tones just in the middle. Remember, not too dark, not too light also, just about enough. And I'm literally just scribbling like that. And now I can start adding some trees and branches over here like that. There you go. Now we have a tree also. Maybe I can draw this over here as well. And then this side, I'll have this one come a bit lower actually. Look at that, I've barely done anything. Just like this. And then here I'll add a slightly medium tone. Then darken this part here. Remember, don't think too much, just paint what you see or draw what you see. So when I say draw what you see, I don't mean, oh, let me look exactly how this is drawn, not like that. Your first impression of it basically. So over here, if I see, I know there's a tree over here, like a small bush, just like this, and then here we have something else. Then over here, I can just use some different sort of textures for this part. Then over here, I'll use some different lines maybe. So instead of going from one end to the other end, think of it as drawing grass, but make sure they're all in the same direction. Like that. And then over here, I'll just add some dots like this. And the same thing here. So I'm just showing you different ways and different techniques of how we can draw certain parts. And then we'll have this tree come out like that. And over here, now see, at the bottom I wanted to come out this wide max. So then from there I will just start making it smaller and smaller. Okay, and then in between this I can add some middle tones. There you go, now we have another tree there. And then same thing over here. I'll drag this one down. Now since it's dark, I drew a pretty dark line, but if this tree was, say, a little lighter, I wouldn't have drawn it this dark. There you go. Just like that. Okay, and then this side I can add some grass. Okay, and now let me just change this back to normal. Okay, now over here I'll just start filling this in. Like that. And then wherever it is darker, I will add a few more lines like this over here. And then some this side. And now since we have some reflections here, I'll just overall darken this a little bit like that, and then we can start adding the reflections. Now remember, the reflections, they do not bounce off 100% of the light, at least when it comes to the water. Some gets absorbed into the water, some reflect off of it. So because of that, the reflections are not going to be that strong or that dark as well. Some of it might be, but most of it will not. Like say over here, I can add a bit down there. Over here, since the water is moving, it will be a little bit shaky. Over here, this tree stands alone, so I'll keep one reflection only for this tree. And over here, this one is thin, so I won't really draw that. I'll go on for the next, and then a little bit there. And you can see how the reflections are coming. Over here, maybe I'll just darken this part a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Now if you want, you can do the sky. If you don't want, you can leave it as it is. Because as it is right now, it seems to be pretty good looking. But I think I can just add a little bit to the sky. I won't really do much. I'll just add a little bit here. It's going to be so subtle you will barely even notice it. So maybe a little bit this side in between. I can add a bit of a medium to dark tone so that we can get the separation from the background. There you go, just like that. Yeah, there you go, perfect. So let me show it to you once again. And here we go. This is what we have made. So I hope you enjoyed that workshop, and I've shown you a couple of tricks and techniques, and of how we can shade and simplify the objects, and how we can make it easier for us to not just draw but shade and use these techniques in painting as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again at 3:30. So take care and bye bye.